Hey everybody, welcome back to H&S Collectibles. This is Cody. So this is Tuesday movie review, poor review of a poor movie. And I have a poor movie this week. So this movie was suggested to me by Anthony over at Similar Paramedics. Thanks for the suggestion, I guess I'll say. um, I can't say that I enjoyed it, but it is. I guess it's a badge of honor to sit through a movie this awful. But I'm going to do a quick review, a poor review of the poor movie Killing Spree from 1987. So written and directed by Tim Ritter. Budget of about $75,000. Shot on 16 millimeter film, from what I can read, and starring a guy named Asbestos Felt as the lead Tom. And I have to look over here. Sorry, Courtney Lucara as Lisa, his wife. Everybody else's name in the movie does not really matter. And the main character is played by Asbestos, and much like his name, he's not good for you. Uh, Basically, the plot centers around Asbestos as an airline mechanic. I love how they present it airline mechanic, and his friend is a pilot, and his wife used to be a stewardess, but he talked her into staying home because he doesn't want her to have to work. He's a traditional husband in that sense. The wife should stay at home, and he should provide. Blah 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 blah. So you get this idea that they must work on a pretty big airline, like Delta or Southwest, something that kind of scale. When we do see him in his shop later, he's like working on a four-seater airplane kind of thing, like they shot it in some local airfield, which I'm sure they did. But at any rate, he has his friend over for dinner. His friend is older than he is and is dating some girl that's like 18. And going on about his exploits with her, and it just keeps upsetting Tom more and more. And he eventually thinks that his friend is coming on to his wife, gets in a fight with him, chases him out of the house. The next day, he goes to find his friend to apologize to him. The wife is wanting to get work because they're having money problems. Tom keeps saying, no, I'll get another job if I have to. Then at work, he finds out they're cutting his pay, cutting his hours. So, they're getting more and more desperate for money. He thinks that he's not keeping her happy enough. She thinks, he's stressing out over the money. And eventually he comes back home one day. When she's not home, she went out. And he doesn't even like it when she goes out. He's just very jealous character. And he reads what he assumes is his diary, or her diary, and the kind of the way the scene is set up, you already know it's not her diary. You kind of see what's coming. But in it, she talks about how the friend came over and they ended up sleeping together, all in great detail in this diary. And he gets furious mad, invites his friend over. He brings the girlfriend. Tom ends up, I'm just going to cut to the quick. Tom, spoilers, and believe me, I'm sparing you a lot of pain. Tom cuts her head off and ends up beating his friend to death with her head. Then buries them in the backyard. And the most bloodless decapitation you've ever seen, the quickest crime scene cleanup you've ever seen. And there was, I read online that whoever did the effects for this movie, I forget the name, went on to do some cool effects and things like Toxic Avenger and other things, and I'm just not seeing it here. He must have not had the budget to work with within that $75,000 and saved his great work for later. But he reads the diary more and more, and there's a write up about an encounter she had with the gardener. There's a write up about an encounter with the electrician, the plumber. Just several guys. And we get treated to, I won't say ingenious kills, some of the silliest kills I think I've seen. I think the dumbest one was he cut the blades off the ceiling fan and he replaced the blades of the ceiling fan with a machetes, and invited the electrician over to take a look at the fan because he complained that after so long the fan would slow down, and they stand there and stare at it for a long time. There are several shots in this movie where you think, why are we watching this? Why is the camera lingering on this? There was at least 3 or 4 of them that I picked out along the way and thought, wow, and I didn't really realize when I watched it that they were shooting this on 16 millimeter. This is film stock they had to pay for. It's not like nowadays when it's digital, shoot, shoot, shoot. So every second of film that camera is burning was costing them money. Apparently they didn't care. But anyway, him and the electrician sat there and they look at this ceiling fan for what seemed like an eternity. And the electrician goes, "Wow, this is the weirdest looking ceiling fan I've ever seen," or something like that. And of course Tom goes, "Well, let's give you a closer look," and grabs him and picks him up into it, and we get kind of their version of the helicopter zombie from Dawn of the Dead. Cuts his head off flat at the top, but leaves him with a forehead that big at the same time. He ends up burying the gardener up to his neck out in the yard, with I think one hand sticking out, and is running over him with the lawnmower. I kind of hope that maybe more had been seen there. I remember renting movies like this back in the day, and I think from the way that asbestos looked, this movie put me in the mind of Street Trash, which I love. Street Trash. Street Trash is a great fun film, and this had inferior acting and production value and everything else, even compared to Street Trash. So it'll give you the idea of the quality of it. I did not really find one redeeming defect in this movie. So anyway, one thing I will say, though, I did not see a certain plot twist coming. You could tell right off the bat that these were not encounters that his wife had. She was writing romance stories. So after he kills everybody, and honestly, I didn't shoot this review as soon as I should have. I forget how he killed the plumber. But the gardener got buried. His friend, he beat to death with the severed head. The electrician got scalped. And there may have been one other. And while he was killing, after he killed one of them, he stuffed him in a trash can and lit it on fire like he was going to dispose of the body that way. The nosy neighbor lady came over because she seen what he was doing, and she asks if he would please kill her husband to get him out of her hair, and she won't say anything. And I did kind of like this one, and maybe it had a little bit of a Toxic Avenger vibe to the makeup effect. Maybe a lot of it was turn away from the camera kind of thing, but he tore her bottom jaw off with a claw hammer. Up through the bottom of the jaw, kind of like My Bloody Valentine, and pulled it right off. That was kind of fun. Yeah, and that's the thing. When I said I rented these kind of movies back in the day, and if it was a movie that was so bad I had to fast forward through it, I was fast forwarding and watching for, come on, at least give me some gore. Give me something gory. Give me something that I can pester my friends with and tell them you need to see this. And this movie had trouble delivering on that. But what I did not see coming, so the wife comes home, shows the check that she got for her romance stories and how he doesn't have to get a second job, and he realizes oh my God, I killed all these people and shouldn't have. They come back. They get up. They get up from where he buried them. Um, the one that he burned in the trash can, though, gets up, and the makeup on him, the darkened makeup, and the fact that he had, I forget, something in his head. I already forget. It's been 2 weeks since I watched this movie. I'm sorry. His makeup effects gave me a feeling of the dead next door, or maybe even the video dead. But anyway, the zombies pursue Tom and Lisa into the house, and the zombies want to kill him, but then they change their um, gears, I guess you'd say, and they kind of talk among themselves and have an argument. The woman with no jaw is trying to talk, and they're telling her to shut up. That was kind of comical. But now the zombies have decided they want Tom to kill Lisa, and that this was all her fault for writing those stories. And he kind of makes a deal with them. Okay, I'll kill her, all right. And he brings her into the living room, and he's got a hacksaw, and he's going to kill her for them. And then instead, he cuts his own throat with the hacksaw. And the zombies just kind of, okay, I can go with that. And they all leave. And they go outside and they disappear into a pit that is now in the yard for some reason. I don't know if it's like a doorway to hell or what that was supposed to be. And Lisa is upset. Of course, Tom's laying dead in there on the couch, and she leaves. And just as she steps out the door, Tom busts out of the front porch as a zombie and grabs her, and that was the end. That was the end credits. This is on YouTube. Look up Killing Spree 1987. Sample this movie a little bit if you want. You might save yourself a lot of pain of watching some of the awful acting in it, the awful audio. All the lines either seem to be screamed by someone who didn't know how to act, which I would say was the entire cast, or barely heard because it was recorded badly and from a distance, no boom mics, things like that. And I can respect that these people were trying to make a movie, and that is more than I have ever done in my life. But this was bad. There's only so much credit I can give you, and this one didn't quite pass the finish line for that. So that's it. That's my poor review of the poor movie Killing Spree 1987. If you have any review selections or requests, put them below. I'll see what I can find. As far as poor movies go, there are certainly plenty of them out there. Seem to be, and I have a lot in my own collection still to watch. And I'm just trying to get back into the groove. I've been out of making my videos on time lately. I've just been busy with work, and I still appreciate the interaction and encouragement I get from you all. Like I said, this was a review request in from Anthony. We were talking on Instagram, and he said, "You need to check this out." And I actually watched it. We were on spring break. I had a little bit of extra time to kill in the cabin here and there. Watched it kind of piecemeal, but sometimes that's the best way to swallow a pill that big, is bite off a piece at a time. So, anyway, that's it for me. I hope everybody's having a good week. It's Tuesday here. Tuesday? 3 days to go, I hope. Going to go see Kong vs. Godzilla Friday. I'll post a review for that, what I think of it. And, just try to keep pumping out some content for you guys. So, until next time, like and subscribe if you haven't. Everybody stay safe, take care of each other, wear your mask, get your vaccine, all that good stuff. And come back and see me. Thanks.